Breaking news coming in. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps claims to have shot down MQ-9 drones in Bushehr province and another drone in the skies over Tehran. The statement said the two MQ-9 drones were intercepted and destroyed in the district of Jam and Khormoj in Bushehr province. According to a statement from the IRGC's Public Relations Department, the third drone was brought down in Tehran's airspace. The statement further says that all three drones were tracked and destroyed by the IRGC's advanced air defense systems under the control of the country's integrated air defense network. However, the Iranian authorities have given no proof or shown any debris to back their claim of shooting down these drones. The MQ-9 Reaper, or known as Predator, is a premium medium-altitude, long-endurance unmanned aerial vehicle developed by General Atomics for the U.S. Air Force. It is primarily used for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, and precision strike missions as well. The drone features a 22-meter wingspan and flies over 27 hours and carries up to 16 Hellfire missiles. It has massive range of over 2,500 kilometers. We are now being joined by James Marlowe, who is a foreign and defense analyst, joining us live from London. Thank you so much for joining us on WION. How do you see UK's role in this Middle East crisis as President Trump says, we don't need British help anymore?
Yes, and it's actually a big political potato over here in London, across the UK. There are various question marks. The feeling generally is that Sir Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, of course, is being led by his backbenchers. Many of them are on the left of this party. Of course, the Labour Party is a centre-to-left party, but many of them are also on the far left. Socialists, even Marxists. Some of them have been so extreme that they've actually been kicked out of the party, and they sit in the House of Commons as either an independent or they've joined up with a new party, which is almost like the Gaza party. In other words, speaking on behalf of the Iranian regime and also the Palestinians inside of Gaza. But nevertheless, we are about 2.5 to 3 years away from a general election, so we're not likely to see any real change. But this, according to all polls, is the worst prime minister ever on record. And he is very, very unpopular, of course, being a worst prime minister. And we also are looking at, on May the 7th, local elections across the country, across Scotland, Wales, and also in England, local elections for the local municipalities, and Labour are looking to get a real hiding.
And James, you are experienced in foreign and defense analogies and analysis. How do you see this 10 days of constant bombardment of Iran by U.S. and Israeli forces, and then how Iran has been able to retaliate at this point?
Well, I just got off the phone to actually 2 or 3 calls in Israel just to get an update over there of what's taking place. I can tell you that on my phone, on my device, as soon as an attack drone from either Hezbollah in Lebanon or Iran fires one of these ballistic missiles or as an attack drone, my phone goes off, the sirens go off, and it tells me exactly where the attacks are taking place. Pretty much overnight, yesterday evening, and all through this morning, there's been massive attacks from Iran and from Hezbollah into Israel, northern Israel, the center of Israel, the south of Israel. That includes, by the way, Tel Aviv and also Jerusalem. And this is happening every half an hour. So really what's taking place is that you're literally having millions of Israelis running to the shelters, because you need to run to the shelters, because right now Iran is using what's known as a cluster submunition. I wanted to get that word exactly right, because the cluster submunition is literally one missile which is fired from Iran, and then just above ground, ground level, when it reaches its target, it literally splinters into dozens and dozens of different fragments. And of course, this is what's causing the casualties. That's the reason why the Israeli authorities are saying, don't take any chances with this. You have to run to shelter no matter where you are. There's obviously a few who still continue driving along the streets or walking down the streets or standing on their roofs trying to get their great captions to stick on social media. And that's some of the videos that we're seeing, but it's very, very dangerous. I'm just back from Israel myself about a week ago, and I can tell you that knowing what it is that I know now about these munitions and these cluster bombings, I wouldn't take the chance now. I'd make sure that I'm inside. You wait for the sirens, you wait for another 10 minutes, you come out, and then literally you're going back to what you're doing beforehand in your home, because most people are not going to work. They're sitting down at the dinner table, they're thinking to themselves, do I have 3 minutes to run into the shower? Because perhaps they haven't taken the shower for 2 or 3 days. And then, of course, once again, the alarms go off and you've got to grab the children, you've got to grab the baby, you've got to run down literally, and people are slipping down the stairs, older people, of course, and this is the inconvenience. But if I may just say, at the same time, also got word from the IDF that the Israelis and, of course, the joint alliance with the United States are hammering Iran right now. Isfahan, Tehran, the south of Iran itself. They're really taking out a lot of the police stations, these command centers. And of course, Hezbollah are getting a real big hiding, especially in southern Beirut in an area called Dahia.
And James, I guess, we're here in the United States. We constantly get updates about what the Americans are doing in collaboration with the Israelis against Iran. But for our international audience, can you talk about the kind of objectives that the U.S. and Israel, of course, has managed to achieve after 10 days in this war? And also, last week, we heard that at this point, the United States and Israel may have air superiority. And then our White House spokesperson said that, they will have full control of Iranian airspace very soon, if not, in a few hours. But we're still seeing these missiles get launched from somewhere in Iran. So has there been notable achievement on the part of the U.S. and Israel right now?
Well, there's quite a lot to unpack over there. So firstly, President Trump has already said that he's actually sunk 42 Iranian Navy ships. There is, in his words, are sitting at the bottom of the sea. The Israelis have been with their F-35Is. So that's the actual upgrade of the American F-35. So they have shot down the old F-14s. The Iranian Navy is really back from the Iranian Air Force is really back from the 1970s during the time of the Shah. So it was never really much COP, nor was there warboats, of course. But the main problem that the Israelis and the Americans have is, of course, the plan, the objective to start up nuclear bases again. And the Iranians openly said that they were going to do this during the talks in the first round in Oman, where the Americans received, and this Steve Witkoff confirmed this on Fox News, that the opening line from the Iranian negotiators were that we have more than 60% of enriched uranium, and we can make 11 nuclear bombs with that. That was their opening statement. That was what Steve Witkoff confirmed to Fox News. And of course, if you're dealing with a regime that is so close, because of its enriched uranium, is so close to weapons grade and can actually, within the space of a few weeks, make nuclear weapons, then the objective is to really take down this regime. Now, President Trump has been very careful to say that we're not looking for a regime change, but the Israelis are. And that's the reason why the Israelis are also hitting the police stations across Iran. They want no functional government to take place. But you're not going to see American boots on the ground. You're not going to see Israeli boots on the ground. There has to be a plan to try and grab this enriched uranium from Iran, which is at weapons grade, because if that falls into the wrong hands, then we're all in trouble. But at the same time, I believe that the focus is that members of the IRGC who have been hit really hard, but clearly there's been a very serious intelligence leak and military leak to the Israelis who have managed to take out their leadership and their top generals of the IRGC. I believe that some of these will move over to the people when the time is right, in the coming weeks perhaps. And there they will have arms and tanks and maybe some other weaponry as well. They can join with the people, and you may see the possibility of an overthrow of this Iranian regime. But it's difficult to say at this precise point.
Yeah, James Marlowe, thank you so much for that excellent analysis. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that quote by Steve Witkoff. We don't talk about that enough. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.